Welcome to Zero to Hosted. My name is Royce, and we're back with another episode in our Learning Linux series. If this is your first time joining us, welcome in. I'm using a platform called Labex.io to learn Linux with the ultimate goal of being able to host my own services in my own home lab. The last time that we were here, we left off in the segment that was looking at user groups and file permissions. So let's jump back in and see what we can learn today. In our last episode, we learned a few different things around using the super user do command, adding some users, learning about what happens when you add a user from groups being made and subgroups being made. So we'll continue on with that journey and see what we can learn. Hop on into the terminal. All right, first up, we're gonna do group add. All right, so we kind of have two commands starting off here. The first, the sudo command, which if you missed the last episode and haven't heard of this before, this is super user do, and it essentially grants the permissions of the root user. And then this is a new command that we're using here, group add, and it seems like the syntax is use the group add and tell it what the name of the group is, and then you go from there. So let's hit enter. Doesn't look like it did anything, but we're gonna assume that it did. Although maybe we can go back into, see if I can remember etc group. No. Maybe it was etc cat group. No, there was a previous command that we did that I can't remember now, and it's not needed to do this, but where you could look at the different groups that were there, and I was gonna try to see if I could find the developers one in there. Now, I can't figure it out, so I'm not gonna spend too much time on it, and maybe I'll be able to come back at another time and look and check that out. Let's just go on to the next step, which is to add Jack to the developers group. So this is introducing another command, user mod command modifies users' accounts. The AG option adds the user to a supplementary group. Okay, so sudo user mod, it modifies a user account. Okay, so that makes sense. Oops, if I spell user right. User mod means that you are modifying a user. So this is a little bit of an interesting syntax and like the way this one is written out. The first two seem to be the commands. This AG, and it says the option adds the user to a supplementary group. So you're telling the user mod this is the action you want to take, and then you tell it the group that you want to use and what user you want to put in there. So, it is saying my user Jack doesn't exist. Okay, so we had talked about this in maybe one of the earlier ones. Of the things I don't like about this platform is that things don't persist, which is good, but also bad from like a learning standpoint, right? Because like it's not necessarily tracking your progress. Maybe that's why they ask you to pay for it in like one of the features of paying for it. As I mentioned before, I'm not paying for this, so I just have to remember how to add a user. I do think I remember how to add a user, so let's see if I can do that and get this to work anyway. So I believe this is the right syntax in order to add a user. We're doing super user do. The command is add user, which is very simple to remember, and then the name Jack. So let's hit enter, see if we get an error. Okay, that seems pretty good. And it's asking me to create a password for the user Jack. And I did just type, and if you don't remember this first time typing in a password into a terminal, it does not show the password there, it just shows blank. So I'm gonna hit enter with confidence and hope that I spell it correctly both times. Great. So change the user information. I'm gonna hit enter for all of this to hit the default. If you want to go a little bit more in depth and hear me do more commentary about this particular one, go back to my previous video. We do talk about this in kind of all of the nuances there. All right, now I'm gonna go back. And as a tip, you can hit the up arrow to do your previous commands. So I'm just gonna do that here. Define super user do, modify user within the add group to developers for the user Jack. There we go. So it seems like that works. It does say though that to verify that Jack is now a member of the group, use groups Jack. So let's try that. Okay. So we have Jack here in developers. Once again, if you're wondering why there's a group called Jack as well, go back to my previous video, check it out, and it'll explain it there. But now we have those two there, which seems like this should be good. Perfect. Okay, so that wasn't too difficult. We learned a new command with the user modification, and we learned that this AG means that you can add a user to a group, but then you must first write the group that you want them to be added to, and then the user. You obviously have to ensure that the user is actually in the system. All right, so now we're gonna add Jack to the pseudo group, but let's understand why this is important. Adding the user to the pseudo group allows them to execute commands with super user or root privileges. This is useful for several reasons. Security allows the user to perform administrative tasks without logging in as the root user, okay, which is generally considered a security risk. Accountability. When users use sudo, their actions are logged, okay. And granular control, okay. So it seems like we're just gonna use the same kind of syntax, sudo user mod hyphen a capital G sudo Jack, okay. Okay, and that's good to know. The AG means append to group. So another one of those like Linux shortcuts and shorthands that will hopefully be easy to remember the more you use them. And adding Jack to the group, and then okay, so we'll just check one more time. Groups Jack, and then we have 3 there. We started out with 1 just being Jack, and then we added developers to it, which is the second one, and now the third one being sudo. Users with sudo privileges should be trusted and understand the implications of their actions, as they can potentially impact the entire system. Cool. Got that done. So nothing too complicated yet today. Let's keep going. Understanding and manipulating file permissions and ownership. Linux file permissions and ownership are crucial for system security. Explore these concepts. Current permissions in the home directory. Not the number 1. Okay. So list. Yep, actually. Okay, this has 8, but this has 4. Maybe similar enough. But no clue what it actually means. So let's see how they explain this. The first character indicates the type of file, the file type, D for directory, hyphen for regular file. The first character. Okay. The next 9 characters represent permission for owner, group, and others in that order. Read, write, execute. Okay. All right. I feel like we just jumped a little bit in like complexity because I have questions. They talk through the read permission, the write position, the execute, which only gets us through our first 4 characters. Then it said the username after these characters is a file owner, which is great. That'd be Jack and Labex, which are the users in this. But we skipped these there. So I'm not sure what that's about, but okay. Now let's create a new file and change its ownership. All right. So I do remember us using touch at the very beginning of this. I don't really remember, but it says touch command creates an empty file. Okay. Then it's telling us the path that it wants to go to, which is cool. I'm gonna type this out just because it's better for my memory. So apologize making you walk or watch me do this. Test file. Okay, and then we're gonna do the same. Uh-oh. Did I do this wrong? Hmm. Okay. So just to show what I did just really quick, this is saying that I didn't, no such file exists in Labex, I guess. So I did a change directory to go back, to go to the Labex directory and see if this file was created there. And it does say that the test file is there. I wonder if I should just remove this and copy this. I'm just gonna remove it and copy this, and maybe I can get a better breakdown in a second. Okay, so the test file is deleted. I'm just gonna copy what's here. Okay, maybe this AI thing will be helpful. Explain. Touch is simple to create a brand new empty file. Cool, we're good with that. LS stands for list. We know that. The L flag is for long format, which displays detailed information about the file, such as its permissions, who owns it, when it was created. Okay. Sudo runs the command with administrative privileges. And then the chown is for change owner. This tells Linux to change both the user owner and the group owner to Jack. Okay. So there's quite a bit here. Honestly, this breakdown is helpful. One of the things we haven't really done in this so far is stacking of commands like this, because essentially this all ran at the same time, and it does seem like it ran in sequential order from the top down, right? So first we created the test file, then we got the long format of where the test file is. Then we change the owner of the group. And so this is saying both the user owner and the group owner. Okay. And then like that's a little weird, but maybe these two lines are the output. So you can see the difference. It went from being Labex twice to Jack twice. That makes sense. It's interesting that, let me see. Yeah, interesting. When you do the file content, I think it's file contents is how it said it was. The long format for the file, that it doesn't show up as another line here. It instead just goes underneath where you called that after all of the commands have run. That's interesting. Okay. Let's keep going and see what else it says. Took us back to the top. Okay. By changing ownership in Linux, file owners have special privileges over their files. By changing ownership, we're giving Jack full ownership. Makes sense. Let's modify the file's permissions. So this would probably be change modify. Whoa. All right, so I don't know if you're reading along with me, but we're going to modify the file's permission. We have a new command here, which is the chmod, and now we have this number that's coming after it as well. Chmod kind of sounds like change modify to me. Maybe don't quote me on it yet, but that's what it seems like. This number thing is what is kind of throwing me for a loop. It says the number 750 is a shorthand way to set permissions. Okay, that makes sense at face value. So read is 4, plus write is 2, and execute is 1. That's interesting. Although I would actually expect it to be the other way around, that if you were reading, you would just get 1. If you could write it, 2, that would still be 2. Then if you could execute something, it would be 4. But somebody much smarter than me created this, so I'm not going to argue. But that's interesting. So that's 7. Okay, so that's for the owner. This is for the group, and this is others. No permissions. Okay. Oh, okay, so if it's, I guess if it's a 0, that means you get no permissions. So I wonder if I put 700, would that mean that only the owner had these and there would be no group permissions? Members of the Jack group can read and execute the file. Okay. Okay. That's kind of weird, honestly, but interesting. Okay, and then so it's stacked with this. And then what I'm expecting again to see is that we'll see the change directly underneath this without this the Labex there again. So I'm just gonna do a copy again and run it like that. Okay. The common permission set that allows the owner full access, gives the group limited access, and restricts access for everyone else. It's a balance between usability and security. Okay, so maybe this 750 number becomes more important as I'm managing my own files or wanting to make sure that I can do something and edit the files, but somebody else can only just see them. I'm saying file permissions ownership is crucial in Linux. The largest control who can read, modify it. Yeah. Okay. I feel like this is okay. I feel like this one, especially the last couple parts of this unit, I think is one of those ones that there should be like some type of test or quiz because that was kind of a lot to do. We covered, we started off with the user modification and adding a user to a group with user mod and this append group command. So that was cool and kind of made sense. We then quickly jumped off the deep end and went to the list, the long format of the files here that we see. Actually, I'll jump down here because this is where we did it right. But then we changed the ownership here. We stacked like responses, I guess, on top of each other. So we went from it being the user owner and the group owner to being Labex, to being the user owner and group owner being Jack, all in the same command. And then we assigned permissions using a different command, the change mod command, and the number 750, which represents user ownership, group ownership, or excuse me, user access, group access, and other access. So when I say it like that, it doesn't seem too complicated. I would just be interested of how much I can kind of retain of this as we go on throughout this. But that's the Linux user group and file permissions unit that they have here for the Linux for you noobs. So yeah, let's keep going, see what happens. I don't want daily reminders. Oh, look at that. They knew that was difficult and they put in a challenge. All right, let's see if we can, what we can do with this challenge. I'm gonna create new groups named dev and test, add a new user account named Jack with the home directory of home Jack, primary group dev, and secondary group Labex. Okay, already right there, that's confusing to me because they only talked about appending groups in the last one. I don't remember them ever really talking about changing the primary group, but maybe we can figure that out. Add a new user account named Bob with a home directory of Bob, primary group test, and secondary group Labex. Okay. Use the Labex user, which has pseudo privileges and belongs to the Labex group to perform these tasks. New groups of tests are created before adding new users. Ensure okay. Let's get into it. This should be kind of fun. I'm excited about this actually. So we'll do the groups first and then go from there. Do have to remember how to make a group. Man, am I gonna have the ask for a hint already? I remember the add users. Maybe it's just add groups. Let's see if this is the right command. Ah, okay, there we go. Add group. Okay. Only root may add a user or group to the system. Okay, maybe I just need to go up one. No, that's not it. Okay. I might be stuck on the first one. Create new groups. We're adding group dev. That seems like the right command, but I'm missing something before I get doing that. Oh, use the Labex user. Okay. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm the change directory. What is the just to not berate you all with my struggles? I'm gonna go ask for a hint and let's see what they give me. Ah, okay. So I am the right user, but I need to do sudo. Okay, haven't read the rest of this, so I'm gonna just kind of scroll up. So maybe I don't see the rest of that hint and then see if that will work. Okay. Interesting. So even though, okay. 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 And then sudo. Okay. So the thing to remember is that even if you have those privileges, you still have to use the command sudo in order to activate those, like call those privileges up. Like they're dormant and you have to kind of call them up. Okay, cool. So task one complete. Add a new user account named Jack with a home directory of home Jack. Primary group dev and secondary group Labex. All right. So I'm gonna do sudo again, add user Jack. Okay, we don't need full name, room number, work phone, home phone, other. Yes. Okay. So append group. Okay, so I remember we just did the append group. I'm just gonna try that to see if that makes something the primary group versus secondary group. They didn't use that terminology from what I remember, and we literally just did it. So maybe bad memory on me, but let's try it. Can I remember what it is though? We'll go sudo. Dang. I know it's this, and then it'd be the group and the user, right? But oh man, what is the oh man, this is killing me. That's the second half of it. Okay, we had just learned change owner, which is the change mod with chmod. Man, what was this one? Because I had to do this one twice. And see, this is why I like typing things out because it helps me remember them better. Because now I can't remember. All right, let's scroll back down. Oh. Oh, shoot. Okay. Look, so I was looking for something else, but found the answer to what I was looking for. I don't think they ever said this before. So they get minus a half a star for this one. This one says if you use the user add, which I did for Jack just now, you can set the home directory and primary group and supplementary group all in one go. Okay, so I was the command I was looking for is here, was user mod. That's fine. How do you, if you use user add or already have created an account, you can use sudo user mod secondary group later. Okay, so I'll do that here mainly so that I can remember user mod. And then for test too, right? Sudo user. Oh wait, but no. Let me go back. Instructions say okay. G test. Oh wait, no Labex. Jack. Alright, groups. Jack. Alright. So Jack is in these three groups. I think I have messed up because I have not set this as the primary group. That's the thing that's missing. How do you set the primary group? Maybe I can just. It's probably not gonna work, but let's see. Oh. Ooh, I wonder if that worked. Okay, so yeah, they didn't do a good job explaining this one. We learned in the last one that this AG is for appending the group. And I think this only appends it as a secondary group because it is doing append, which is kind of just what that means. And then in this command flag things, it says supplementary group is the uppercase G. So that makes sense. So my thinking was essentially if I do a lowercase g, and not remove the A, it's not going to append it. It's going to make that the primary. I don't know if that actually works, but we'll keep that for now. And then we're going to do, I don't think I've made Bob's user yet. Or what's this guy's name? Yeah. So I'm going to try to do Bob using what they said in the help part of this first, which was like creating the user and adding all of those things at the same time. So I'm gonna go back to that because that is new and they didn't actually say that. If you use user add, you can set the home directory, primary group, and supplementary group all in one go. Okay. Sudo user oops add this still isn't great because I don't know the like the syntax and the order that this is supposed to go into. I'm gonna go home directory. So let's see what the home directory is supposed to be for Bob. Okay, that one's fine. Primary group is gonna be test, so test. And then that's kind of confusing. Supplementary group is gonna be the capital G, and they said that is Labex as well again. And I'm gonna type Bob. Let's see what happens. Yeah, I don't think that worked. Right, because we did the user add command, but it didn't do any of this other stuff. Okay, let's try it again. I'll do it in the opposite order. User add Bob. Spelled pseudo wrong. Somebody's gotta help me. How do I like click in the terminal, like to the character that I want to? And then I deleted the wrong thing. There we go. And let's try this again. So like that, the primary group. I think this is wrong because the group syntax. Oh, but Bob already exists now. That's interesting. Okay, so how do I see? Oh, I can do groups. Bob. Okay. Well, maybe it works. Okay, what else do we need? Add a new user account. Okay, those are the three things. Oh, maybe if I had finished reading the directions, I would have heard about this part, but it doesn't matter. We did both of them. You can remember that you can always check the set of group. Okay, so this is what I was trying to do before. I don't know if it's still. Yeah, it's not on here anymore, but this part, the etc. group. So I'm just gonna do that just for fun at this point. See. Oh, and I need the backslash first. Okay. Let's see. Maybe pseudo first. Okay, change directory. Let's go into. No, I can't test that. All right, let's just see what happens. All right. Oops. Okay. Jack, dev, he's in groups, dev, and Labex. Okay, and then let's do the same thing for Bob. He's in. Is that right for Bob, the home? Oh, yeah, okay. All right, let's see. Whew. All right, that was tricky. All right, let's see. We go to this next one. Oh, is that it? Okay. All right. I'm gonna go there for this one just because I felt like they introduced some things that they hadn't actually talked about yet, which is never good on a quiz, right? Like no one wants to go take a quiz and it be brand new material on the quiz. But overall, that was actually a lot of fun doing that and thinking through that. Let me. Oh no, is it gonna erase all that I just had up there? Oh. All right. Let's see if I can go back really quick. We're not going to move on to this one. This one, next unit is going to be file and directory operation. So that's pretty cool. Let me see if I can just go back really quick to what we just did and just do one. I'm going to start over. I just want to see so we can kind of do a recap. Okay. So we started off finishing the previous unit, which was Linux group and file permissions. And then we kind of did this pop quiz kind of thing where we created groups, we created users, and then we added users to different groups in different ways and different configurations, whether it be their primary group or their secondary group. Learned a few interesting things. One, you can add users to a group in the as you are creating them. So you use either the lowercase g or the uppercase g. The lowercase g stands for the primary group. The uppercase g stands for the secondary group. Additionally, if you want to just do it separately, you can use those commands, those lowercase g's and uppercase g's, in order to add them to groups as well, using just the add group command. What else did we talk through here? I think that was about it. Let me go back to the show me the hint, because this was very helpful. We didn't have to do this because they didn't ask us to change the home directory, but this hyphen and an M ensures the home directory is created. Oh, one of the things that was interesting when we did the single step group, I feel like this wasn't here when we just looked at this, but okay. It did not actually put through the like create your password, all of those type of things. So I would be interested to know how that happened. But this is very helpful to see creating a user and adding them to groups in one step. So the primary group, the secondary group, and then the username. Yeah, okay. Well, I figured that out. I would be interested to know if you want to create a different home directory. Is that how you input it there? Maybe for another time. Okay. Well, yeah, that was a lot of fun. That'll be it for this episode. I appreciate everybody checking in. For the next one, as we just saw, we're going to be on file and directory operations. So if you enjoyed this, kind of series of learning that we're doing together, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel, like this video. Let me know if you have questions or anything you were doing that did help or didn't help. If there's something that you'd like for me to dive into a little bit more, I'd be happy to know about that. I can't really guarantee you that I will, honestly, because I'm trying to learn. So hopefully it'll be in my path of learning. But if you saw me do something that took me 10 clicks to do and I could have done it in 2 because you're more experienced, let me know. I'd be happy to learn from you all as well. Thanks so much. I'll see you in the next one.